Okay, good evening. I'm Dr. Rehan, the Regional Medical Advisor for Glenmark Pharmaceuticals, and I welcome you all to the session of taking care of the heart in COVID times. Now, before we get on to the session, I would like to introduce the speaker for today's session is Dr. Anjalal Datta, who is an interventional cardiologist. So, sir, I hope you can hear me. So, welcome on board, sir.
Thank you.
And just to give you a short summary of Dr. Anjalal Datta, he's an interventional cardiologist and the clinical director of cardiology of Peerless Hospital, Kolkata. He's also a professor of cardiology at Vivekananda Institute of Medical Science, Kolkata, and has published more than 70 research papers in Xavier's Index Journal. Dr. Datta is a regular invitee as faculty at various national and international conferences and is the past president of Cardiological Society of India. Dr. Datta has close to 70 papers published in various national and international journals. Uh, Now, with this quick introduction, today's session is basically focused on what care should be taken for the heart in this unprecedented time, and there is especially an extensive care that needs to be taken for all the heart patients. And to discuss that, we have Dr. Datto here with us. So, welcome, doctor, and over to you, sir. And over to you, sir. Meanwhile, what I'll do is I'll just mute myself and we'll take up the question and answer at the end of your talk. So thank you again, sir, for joining us in this session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you for the kind introduction, and good evening to all my friends, colleagues, and those who are attending the meet. When you talk in terms of hard times that we are passing through, that is the pandemic of COVID-19, we should remember that the
Sir,
disease.
sorry to cut you here. Can you please adjust your screen? We are not able to see you. Yeah. Just a little more, sir. Just a little more. Your forehead is cut off. We can't see your forehead. Yes.
Is it
No,
okay?
sir. No, sir. No, sir. It's better. Now it's this is better.
This is okay?
Yes, sir. Yes. So please let me know when to change the slide, sir. I'll change it from my end.
Okay. Well, I'll
Yes,
say
over to you.
next and you'll change it.
Sure, sir. Okay.
So to come back to my topic, my friends and colleagues, when we talk in terms of, I can't see myself. Should I see? Hello? Is that
Sir.
okay?
Yes, sir. It's okay. Okay, completely okay. Yes. So let your camera be on and you can go ahead.
Is it okay?
Yes, sir. It's okay. Totally fine.
So taking care of heart in the COVID times. Now, as you all know that we are going through a very difficult time because of the pandemic of COVID-19. But at the same time, we should remember that the overall incidence of mortality, that means death per 100 cases in COVID, is around 2 to 3% in India, which is much lower than what is evident globally. So we should be careful about the disease, no doubt, but we should not unnecessarily be scared, because the problem with COVID is its widespreadness of the disease. It spreads very fast, involves thousands and thousands of our countrymen, but it is not a very serious or dangerous disease in the sense that it is going to kill most of us who are getting affected. It's the other way around. About 90% patients or more than that ultimately recover. So we should not, in one hand, be unnecessarily scared about the disease. On the other hand, we should not be taking it very lightly. The reason why you should not take it lightly, because I may be a young person, I may be a fit person, I may not be affected very seriously with the disease. But if I am a carrier, if someone from my body gets the infection, and if he is not a very hard person, if he is an elderly popular man, or woman for that matter, or has certain diseases, then for him or for her, it may be a very serious disease. So at the end of the day, although we should not be scared because of its very low mortality, but at the same time, we should not take it lightly because we may be the cause of seriousness for other patients who do not have very good immunity or do not strong immune system in their body because of their age and because of certain situations known as comorbid conditions. We'll talk to it in course of our discussions. Next slide, please. So today, the latest report is that 61 lakhs patients have been affected by COVID-19 in India. It is the world's fastest growing outbreak of COVID-19. And you can look at the curve started from March, February, and today in the end of September, the total population affected is, if you take into consideration today's figure, it's about 62 lakhs. Next slide, please. Now, as I told you, people of all ages can be infected by this new coronavirus. But if you have certain factors, you are more likely to develop serious complications and more likely to have a very poorer outcome. Or in other words, the patients above the age of 60 years, patients who already has an existing heart disease, cardiovascular disease, patient who has high blood pressure, patient who has cancer in any form of cancer, because having cancer means the immunity is very low. Patients suffering from chronic respiratory disease, very common conditions in our country because of smoking and other bad habits, chronic bronchitis. Patients having diabetes, a very common finding. I give you an example that about 10 to 12% of our population have diabetes. About 20 to 30% of our adult population has hypertension. And about 10 to 11% of urban population has cardiovascular disease. So these diseases, heart disease, diabetes, hypertension is very common in our country. And in fact, India has the dubious distinction of being home to the highest number of diabetics and highest number of cardiovascular diseases in the world, and also a very high number of hypertension. And all these are very important comorbid conditions. So if you have a patient affected by COVID-19, the patients having a heart disease or hypertension and diabetes is much higher in India compared to other countries. And then we may have chronic kidney disease as well. So all these are known as comorbid conditions. A patient having a comorbid conditions is likely to have more complications and more poor outcome of the disease. On the other hand, if a young person around the age of 25 to 30 who does not smoke, who is otherwise good, does not have any heart disease, does not have a bronchitis, does not have diabetes, does not have kidney disease, is not suffering from cancer, he is coming out of the disease in good conditions. The chance is about 99%. That makes the whole difference. But if he has one of these comorbid conditions, if he has two of the comorbid conditions, if he has three of the comorbid conditions, then his recovery chance is only probably 70 to 80%. That means about 20 to 30% chance of having a very poor outcome. So that is something which you should keep in mind while talking or thinking in terms of COVID-19 and its outcome. Next slide, please. Now, when we talk about heart disease, then mark the sentence: in COVID-19 patients with or at risk of CVD. That means those patients who have already CVD, that means cardiovascular diseases, or who have the risk of CVD, that means risk factors of CVD like hypertension, diabetes, I mentioned, they are at a high risk, no doubt. But at the same time, we should remember that COVID high risk here means high risk of getting infected as well as high risk of getting a very bad outcome, death, so to say. Now, why COVID-19 and how COVID-19 affects the cardiovascular system is a very difficult phenomenon, complicated phenomenon, even for cardiologists. We don't know the exact or total picture clearly. But what is evident is that it produces a severe immunological reactions or allergic reactions, what is known as cytokine storm. And that is one of the causes. I will come to it later on. And because of seriousness of the disease when it is affected by COVID-19, we require the patient to be treated in intensive care in most of the situations. As I told you, the outcome may be very poor compared to those who are otherwise healthy. Next slide, please. Now, the matter that I was going to refer to earlier, that why COVID-19 affects heart and how. Because of allergic reactions, because of immunological reactions, or what is known as cytokine storm, there is severe inflammations affecting the heart muscles. And because of this affection of the heart muscles, the heart pumping power of the myocardium is disturbed, and that is known as heart failure. Heart cannot pump out the blood adequately, and that leads to accumulation of fluid in the body, that leads to low blood pressure, and that leads to severe complication of the heart. Moreover, in COVID-19, there is a tendency of blood to clot. And this clotting of the blood may come to coronary arteries, leading to ischemia of the myocardium. That means loss of blood supply to the heart, or it may affect the blood vessels supplying the lungs, or what is known as pulmonary embolism. So this pulmonary embolism affecting the lung leads to low oxygen in the blood, and that finally leads to affect the heart adversely. Moreover, the heart will be directly affected when there is clotting of the blood in the coronary arteries, leading to ischemia of the myocardium. So all these things lead to heart failure and finally to myocardium damage, severe extent that the patients may be very difficult to survive unless taken care of properly, adequately, and in time. Next slide. Next slide, please. Ways to approach the double-edged threat of the CVD and COVID-19. Why we call it double-edged threat? Because once you have coronary artery disease or cardiovascular disease, you have a greater chance of getting the COVID-19 or greater chance of being infected by COVID-19. And because of your existing cardiovascular disease, you have a poorer chance of coming out uncomplicated. So in one hand, you have a greater chance of getting infected, and on the other hand, you have a greater chance of getting high complications. Next slide, please. So how to take care of yourself? Your doctor will take care of the details, complications, and technicalities. But as a citizen of our country, or as an educated person, how do I take care of myself and the other members of my society so that the disease does not affect us, so that even if it affects us, we don't get much complications? The first thing that we have already been told, that to avoid disease getting affected, we have three important factors that should be taken seriously. And we can talk about it hundreds and thousand times, lakhs times, and there will never be any overt speaking about that. That is maintaining social distance, wearing masks as much as possible, and washing your hands frequently with antiseptic wash or with water and soap or with hand sanitizer. These three remain for the background, and there cannot be a second opinion about it. In addition to that, to take care of your heart, you should lead abrupt, unhealthy eating habits. Because you are at home, you are slightly depressed, you cannot go out, you cannot meet your friends. So, what way you want to get pleasure to yourself other than taking unhealthy, good taste diets? So, this unhealthy eating habits should be avoided, because this unhealthy eating habits leads to increased body weight. If you are diabetes, it leads to further increase in the blood sugar, which may be more dangerous situations in the background of COVID, or it may invite COVID. An unhealthy diet may lead to increased cholesterol in the blood or increased blood pressure. So diet is linked to diabetes, blood pressure, body weight, and all these finally lead to a cardiovascular diseases. So you should take care of diet. Next slide, please. Now, so far as depression is concerned, there is a mental stress and exhaustion that also go a long way to avoid any discipline or strict physical or lifestyle changes. You don't feel like doing anything because you feel depressed, you are strained, you have stress. But you should try to overcome that first mentally. Mind is most important thing. You should mentally overcome it. You talk to your friends. You go through good books which you have tried many times before and you did not find time. You should consider that as an opportunity given to you. You can do many things which you could not do earlier because of lack of time. Most important thing is that reading a book, writing poems, if you are in the habit of any literature, or you can try your hands in your music instruments, or even singing and other things which is there potential in you but which could not be expressed otherwise because of lack of time. So that is one important way of mentally first mentally make yourself healthy. Then continue doing physical. Unless you are mentally prepared, unless you are mentally driving yourself, you cannot do the physical activity. You should get yourself first convinced mentally. Continue doing exercise, eating balanced diet, and getting adequate sleep. Maintain your social network even remotely, and communicate with your friends and family on a regular basis. Limit the information you consume about the outbreak and time you spend on it, and only trust reliable sources. Don't have any negative thoughts in your mind. You can discuss about the widespread of the disease, but don't be swayed by wrong figures. You try to find out the right figure and talk scientifically, and don't feel depressed because the disease, as we are learning day by day, would come, reach a peak, and will come down again. So don't get yourself unnecessarily swayed by the wrong figures and wrong facts. Avoid using coping strategies involving alcohol and drugs. Many times we feel depressed, particularly those who are socialites, who at least once a week or so meet their friends in clubs or in restaurants, have a good, nice time over a glass or two of drinks. And if you think that I can overcome the depression by taking drinks, it will be a great risk on your part, because you will be taking drinks once a week today, and maybe twice a week next day, and maybe you'll start drinking. And it has been proved beyond doubt that taking drink, I repeat, drinking drink make a patient more vulnerable to getting the disease, because the immunity is depressed, immunity is compromised, and there is more complications of COVID, those who are taking drinks regularly. So even though if you feel like just wait for good day to come and don't get tempted to take drink, because that will be opening up a window or door of a very bad time. So don't feel tempted, resist the temptation. When good time comes, you enjoy your good things. Next slide, please. And if you don't live good enough, how can you enjoy your good time that is going to come soon? So keep yourself prepared with good health, good mind, so that you can really enjoy good food and good drinks when good times comes. But if you surrender at this juncture, maybe when the good times come, you will not be physically or mentally strong enough to enjoy the time. Who recommends exercise for prevention of heart disease, ischemic heart disease? The recommendation is usually 30 to 40 minutes vigorous exercise or moderate intensity exercise every day, at least 5 days a week. Say, for example, if it is 30 minutes a day, 5 days means 150. Or if it is 25 minutes a day, the 5 days means 125. So it is usually 25 to 30 minutes a day. You should not do any vigorous exercise in the form of treadmill or weightlifting like this. What you really require, you do brisk walking so that it is of moderate intensity, you get exhausted moderately. And brisk walking 30 to 45 minutes a day, at least 5 days a week, is good enough. If you are already in the habit of going for treadmill test, you are doing treadmill test regularly, you can continue. If you are already doing some weightlifting exercise, you can continue, but reduce the weightlifting part of the exercise. If you feel any discomfort, if you feel shortness of breath, if you feel yourself not very jubilant or weak, don't go for the exercise. Get yourself checked cardiologically first before you go for the exercise. But most of the time, doing a brisk walking every day is good enough, and it does a huge good amount of benefit to the body and mind of most of us. So take short active breaks during the day for exercise or for mental recreations. Follow online exercise class, not exactly you follow the way I told you, that is more important. Just don't follow what is been online, because it is meant for everybody. But you should individualize your exercise, as I mentioned, why and when. And you can go for walk, stand up, relax, but don't go for a heavy weight exercise, or don't go for treadmill exercise unless you are doing it already. Next slide. And you may be, as I told you, suffering from diabetes, you may be suffering from high pressure, you may be suffering from chronic bronchitis, you may be suffering from kidney disease, and you may be taking some medications for that. Make sure you take these medicines regularly so that your cardiac status, kidney status, diabetic status, hypertensive status remain stable as before, and don't allow them to grow or to become worse. And make sure that your supply of medicines is uninterrupted, because cardiovascular diseases, the medicines are so important that even 1 or 2 days interruption of medications may result in serious problems. So make sure you take your medicines. If you have any doubt, you can contact your doctor. But you should not stop medications unless you are advised. And these are the 3 meters that I already mentioned. You keep distance. 1 meter means 3 feet. So you should stay away 3 feet away. Wash your hands, as I mentioned earlier. Stay home as much as possible. follow the instruction of your doctors. Now, although we have a very a large number of populations getting infected in India, 62 lakhs. If you take history of them, in 99% patients you will find that either they are having a professions where they come in contact with large number of people, medical profession, police, bank, office, or some of them are not very careful about their health. They go out, do the shopping, move around the people. So there is always a history of getting in touch or getting in contact with some persons suspected to have already, COVID-19 disease. So these measures, if taken properly, go a long way in preventing COVID-19 infection. There is no denying the fact. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So I hope I've been able to drive home certain important points to make you stay healthy, to make you keep away from any complications of COVID disease, or for that matter, any coronary artery disease or cardiovascular disease. If you have any questions or any comments to make, or then seek any explanation or clarification from me, you are welcome. Dr. Rehan Siddiqui is also with me. So let us try to help you out as much as possible so far your questions are concerned.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir, for this lucid presentation on how to take care of your heart in this unprecedented time. So thank you so much. There are a couple of questions, sir, but looking at the interest of time, I'll just read out the few questions for you and we'll have a quick discussion on that. So I'll just, with your permission, should I take the first question?
Yeah, sure.
Yes. So the first question is, should recovered COVID patients be taking aspirin for preventing heart diseases?
Sorry?
Should recovered COVID patients be taking aspirin for preventing heart diseases?
If the patient is taking aspirin, he should continue aspirin. In fact, even during that illness, many doctors are prescribing aspirin because, as I told you, there is a tendency of blood clot. So there is no doubt about the patients continuing aspirin after recovery, if not during illness itself.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. So the next question is, what do I need to know about the coronavirus if I have a heart problem?
If you have any heart problem already existing, you should try to feel that you know the symptoms of heart problems. So whether you are getting that symptoms further. First thing is, all of us should have a pulse oximeter, if possible, at home. So if you try to find out your oxygen saturations, make sure that it should remain 94% and above. If you find it is coming down, if you find that you are feeling a little more weak, if you find that you are feeling a more shortness of breath or chest discomfort, or blood pressure is coming down, or heart rate is going up, if you find all these things, you should contact your physicians or doctors as much as possible. Right. If you cannot make, because many times doctors are not available, you can go to the hospital, which is apparently not COVID hospitals, and you can talk to the doctors there and decide about the further course of treatment or further course of investigations.
Right. Okay. Thank you, sir. So, few more questions. Which is the best food and exercise in times of COVID to do at home? What is your opinion on that?
If you have a space in your home, you can do walking. If you don't have space, suppose you can count your steps. Now, if you have any idea about from your house, if there is a lawn or any park nearby, if you have an idea how many steps it takes, then you can say 500 steps. Then you can walk for at least 1,000 steps every evening or morning at your own place, living room, or in the rooftop if it is available. If there is no such space, then you should do a little bit of freehand exercise. Okay. And that should be 10 to 12 minutes time. So a little bit of freehand exercise, a little bit of walking twice a day, in the morning as well as in the afternoon, is good enough. You don't have to do very vigorous exercise. Don't have to exert yourself. Don't think that the more I do exercise, the better it is for me. No, it's not like that. It's just to keep your body and circulation in good mood. So you need not be a very professional type of exercise man and try to help, what should I say, steady
Yes.
type of person.
Okay, thank you, sir. So there is one more question. The question is actually a rumor, and the question is that whether my blood pressure medication would could put me at any risk of COVID. Is that true?
There was some theoretical discussion about ACT-ACE angiotensin converting ACE2, but those are absolutely in the theoretical territory now.
Okay.
And uh, even if ACE2 is important factors, a carrier of virus, but that is not increased in while taking antihypertensive medications. So there is no harm in taking antihypertensive medication, whatever be the type of antihypertensive medications,
Okay. Thank you.
provided blood pressure is high.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much, sir. That's all the questions are. I feel there is no more questions. So I think with this we can actually conclude. So thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful presentation. As there is no question, so as I was saying that we can conclude. So thank you everyone for having joined this session, and especially you, sir, for taking time out from your busy schedule. I can understand. So and highlighting on the care part of the heart in COVID time. So thank you so much, and have a nice time. Please be safe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, sir.